I am your ASQ Austin Chair and webinar host, Melanie Berry. Today's presentation will be recorded and 0.1 RUs will be awarded. Please enter questions in the chat. Let's go ahead and welcome our presenter, Forrest Breifogel. Forrest Breifogel is an ASQ Fellow and CEO of Smarter Solutions, Inc. He has authored or co-authored over 15 books about business management and Lean Six Sigma process improvements and their enhancements. His books, Management 2.0 and Leadership 2.0, describe an integrated enterprise excellence IEE system with accompanying software in a novel book format. IEE offers radical management advancements in utilizing and integrating scorecards, strategic planning, and process improvement. Mr. Breifogel was named Quality Professional of the Year for 2011 by Quality Magazine and in 2012 was awarded Alumni of the Year by Missouri University of Science and Technology. He also received the prestigious Crosby Medal from ASQ in 2004 with an earlier book, Implementing Six Sigma. He received the Leadership Award at the 2013 Lean and Six Sigma World Conference. Thank you, Forrest, for dedicating your time and knowledge to us. I'll hand it over to you to get started and let you continue with the presentation.
Well, thanks very much, Melanie. Why variable control charts fail and how to make them work for you. This session will be recorded, so you can later get a recording of the session to review various concepts I talked about. You can also send me an email if you'd like for me to send you a copy of the presentation slide, which contains links to the reference metric reporting apps, view videos, articles, and books. I'll again provide my email address at the end of the session. Have you seen out of control signals from control charts and cannot figure out the reason? You're not alone. Wikipedia states an X bar and R chart is a pair of control charts used to determine if a process is stable and predictable. It's a standard chart for variables data and is used for processes with a subgroup size of 2 or more. Let's examine an X bar and R chart. What is your conclusion from this X bar and R chart? You can see the two horizontal red lines, which represents the upper control limit and lower control limit. We notice that there are quite a few points outside those limits. Is there a customer problem? What action, if any, should be taken with this particular chart? Another analysis indicates that this process is stable and has an approximate non-conformance rate of 27% for a specification of 95 to 105. If this non-conformance rate is unacceptable, there is a need for process improvement. Notice how this is very different than the other chart statement, where we try to fix all these special cause situations or understand them at least. Now, how can this statement be made for this particular set of data? 27% non-conformance rate for that particular specification. Meet 30,000 foot level reporting. The 30,000 foot level charge for UCL and LCL limits mathematically include between subgroup variations for these individuals' chart limits. Since there are no out-of-control conditions in these charts, we can state that the process response is stable and predictable. The probability plot of all the data, since the data are stable, shows that the raw data follow a straight line, hence the normal distribution of this normal probability plot is appropriate for determining a prediction statement relative to fulfilling the customer specifications of 95 to 105. When a process is stable, there's a prediction statement at the bottom of the report determined from the probability plot. So from this probability plot on the lower right side of the screen, we see 95 and 105 drawn vertically over horizontally to the vertical axis, where it says probability less than a particular percentage. If you look at the percentage below 95, you see a certain value, and there's a certain value of 105. Now the chart automatically calculates that for you, and it's 26.9%. So if this prediction statement is unsatisfactory, there's a need for process improvement. For your data set, you can create a 30,000-foot level report with a free app that's available through the link that's shown there, shown on the slide. I'll later demonstrate how to use this app. But before I get there, I want to talk about the benefits of 30,000-foot level reporting over traditional control charting. Control charts are to identify out-of-control signals for timely actions by way of upper and lower control limits. Control chart UCL and LCL values are mathematically 3 times the sampling standard deviation from the mean. Now the word sampling is a very important word in this particular statement. Mathematically, the sampling standard deviation for an X bar and R chart is determined from within subgroup variation. It's important to understand that for the X bar and R charts, between subgroup variation has no impact on UCL and LCL values. From a customer viewpoint, differences between work shifts, days of the week, machines, or other similar factors are potential sources of common cause variation, which customers do not care about relative to the quality of a product or service they receive. For an X bar and R control chart, if there is between subgroup variation caused by customer viewpoint common cause factors, many of the out-of-control signals can occur. Control charts do not assess how well a measurement output of the process meets the needs of customers, which 30,000-foot level reporting does. Now there's a book that has a mathematical explanation of the benefits of 30,000-foot level reporting over traditional control charting. That book's Integrated Enterprise Excellence Volume 3. Particular chapters 12 and 13 go through this discussion. This book is also available on Amazon. Now there's an article that also gives a mathematical explanation of 30,000-foot level reporting over traditional control charting. And I'm going to show you how you can access this particular article from our website, smartersolutions.com. So if you open smartersolutions.com, hover over resources, then you can see this screen shown here. Then select Forest Favorites. When you do that, you'll see this screen. So in particular, what I'm interested for this session is the article that's available by clicking on that circled link there, X bar and R control charts issues and resolutions. So now if we were to click on that particular link, this is what we'd see. So this page has some discussion, but what I want to focus on in this session here is the mathematical relationship that's shown farther down on the page. So you can see there's 2 different mathematical relationships. Now the top one is for X bar and R charts, and the bottom one is really used for 30,000-foot level reporting. because it's dealing with individuals charts for each of the two charts that you'd have in the case of looking at the mean and standard deviation over time or subgroup data. For an X bar and R chart, we notice that the R bar in the equation indicates that the sampling standard deviation originates from within subgroup variability. For the 30,000 foot level reporting, the moving range bar or MR bar indicates sampling standard deviation originates from between subgroups. This is a big deal, okay? So if you've seen a lot of how to control signals for X bar and R charts in the past, you may be having variation between subgroups that's not affecting the control limits. And if that variation between subgroups from common cause variation, you can be getting false signals for special cause events. I'll now demonstrate how to access a free app so you can easily create a 30,000 foot level chart for your data. So if you went to the smartersolutions.com and / free-app, you would see the screen that's shown here. Now clicking on the link shown there, you can have access to the free app. What you need to do next is register for the app. After you complete the registration form, you would press submit, then you're good to go. Now what you can do next is log in to the app. This is a screen that would show next. Now the tabs at the top of the screen, the green tabs, provide much useful information, for example, instructional videos. The example dataset tab, the far one to the right, provides a list of the 2-book series datasets. Now these 2 books are shown on the right-hand side of this slide. From this listing, a dataset can be downloaded so that the app can create a 30,000 foot level report for the chosen dataset. So I'm going to click on the example dataset and select the dataset from the list. Now that's shown on the next slide to download. So when you hit that particular download example dataset, this is what you would see. Now you notice that we've got titles of the datasets as Management 2.0, Figure 6.2, Hank's Golf Shots. Those 2 books are written they're written as novels about 4 golfers. They're friends and they play regularly. So I looked at a lot of data that they had and talked about different situations. It's kind of an interesting book, so I try to make it interesting anyway, where they had dialogue about they tried different techniques, didn't work out so well, and I lead them to this integrated enterprise excellence approach that addresses all these situations. So for the purpose of this session, I'm going to click on Management 2.0, Figure 9.8 lead time. So I subgroup this data, or this data set is subgrouped, and I'm going to be downloaded to my computer so I can access this data set in the app. So now if I look at the Excel spreadsheet that I downloaded by just clicking, you'll notice here I got a subgrouping, and it's weekend subgrouping, and I've got data points from 5 days of the week. So these are randomly 5 transactions that we had during the week. And then we had the different weeks here. So that's what the data sets looks like. So for the app to work and you be able to do it, you have to have data that's in a column like this. And that's what the videos show, how you can set this up so you can analyze the data. Now what I'm going to do is use the free app to recreate figure 9.8 in Management 2.0. It's shown there. So that screenshot on the right-hand side is taken from the book. So the first thing you'll do then is click on the browse and select an appropriate format Excel spreadsheet. Now this can be something that you can access on your computer. It could be in the cloud, it could be physically on your computer, that data set, or wherever. Doesn't matter. So for the purpose of this class or this session here, I went and downloaded and it appeared in my Dropbox on my computer. So for this presentation, I selected the data set that we earlier downloaded to my computer. Now notice also there's a little snippet that appears all the time, and it shows information for the upper left-hand corner of the spreadsheet. So since we got subgroup data, we select subgrouping. But as you can see, we can handle attribute data, time series data, Pareto charts. We can do several other types of data, or you can have no subgrouping. Then you want to copy and paste the column name into here. So our data appears in lead time. That's what the column name is for our data. So I'm entering that or copying over there. Then also we need to go in and say how it's subgrouped. So we copy and paste this column name into the subgrouping column, which is week ending. Now after we make this entry, then we'll have the graph appear. Now in our particular case, I had an upper specification I wanted to have, so I selected upper specification limit only. Notice here, before I do click the next slide, notice how the default is, if you don't have a specification, it reports the estimated median or mean value. You can change that, a certain value, in this case 144, with 80% of the occurrences between 81 and 206. Notice how this is somewhat of a process capability statement here when we don't have a specification. Okay, well in our case we have a specification, and so we're going to select the upper specification only. So then what you do then is enter the upper specification value and enter it over there. Now a graphic is going to appear after you make the entry. And you'll notice also the non-conformance rate is reported from the probability plot instead of the mean or median value and 80% frequency occurrence. On that other, when we say 80% would occur between those values. Now, 4 out of 5 times we expect it to be between those two different values. Now you can save the image by right-clicking the image, and you can save it as a PNG file. Now also there's many options available for the graph. You can create title, axis names, and more. You can also handle non-normal data. So then that's really important. There's a lot of situations where we have non-normal data. And it's no big deal here, but you can do basically the same thing. Now if it's non-normal data and you enter the value into just the way we got here, it defaults to the normal data, and you're going to see a curve in the probability plot. So that's a good indication that you might have a non-normal distribution. Now we had a different data set when we started all this, okay? And for that data set, we were looking at this screenshot is a picture of what we saved. So this is kind of what you report out. And you can see we got about 16.4% non-conformance. So now you have to make improvements if you don't like that answer. Now when we started all this, we had original data set. So I used a similar procedure to go in and create this particular plot, which was just a screen similar to the plot that was in the book. In the other data sets, okay? So now I do have like 11 videos that describes how to use this particular app, so it really makes it quite easy to use. Now satellite level metrics reporting is monthly tracking of financial metrics such as profits and EBITDA, and it takes a similar format to 30,000 foot level reporting. Now, the advantage of this methodology provides one chart for process stability and capability reporting, whether you have it's easy to understand wording. I got percent non-conformance rate. That's easy to understand, much easier to understand than process capability indices like CP, CPK, PP, and PPK. No specification is needed. Prediction statement and process improvement, it kind of puts all that together. And we can make, if we don't like our prediction statement, we need to make process improvement. It can perform consistent reporting, have process change reporting. So if you did some improvements to your process, then the individual's chart should transition to an enhanced level of performance, and then the statement at the bottom of the chart will reflect that new level of performance. So it's real easy to use. So it creates consistency throughout the organization reporting, not just in isolation. So let's talk about process improvement when a 30,000 foot level prediction statement is undesirable. So we've got processes, we got various steps in those processes, and the output is a response. And I'm suggesting 30,000 foot level is not unlike looking out the window of an airplane at the terrain below. You're getting a high level perspective of the terrain below. So we want to track that over time to see if we have any unusual events or anything's trending. In this case, it's not. So then we say it's a stable process, and then we can go in and turn that distribution on its side. We can then look at customer needs, determine what the frequency of non-conformance. If it's not what we like, then we can pull for project creation. Now, one popular way of doing that is through the Lean Six Sigma DMAIC roadmap, or define, measure, analyze, improve, control. Now, I've added some additional steps in my books on how to address the measure phase, because if you look at the measure phase where GE did in the 90s, then there was really quite a few different items in there that to me were not really measured. They had like flow charting and things like that. So what I did in my book that came out in 99, implementing Six Sigma, I had these drill downs of that. And then I added lean assessment as part of that, and also wisdom of the organization, which includes cause and effect of diagram, flow charting, but it also includes FMEA and that sort of thing. To me, which is really not measured, but that's where GE initially put FMEAs, was in the measure phase. Okay? So then if you did a good job, then our individual's chart would transition to an enhanced level of performance, assuming lower numbers are better. So now we got another distribution, and then we got less non-conformance rates or less. We can then look at the financial benefits of that. Now, in a particular case, instead of using a probability density function or a bell-shaped curve, we replace it with a probability plot, which has many benefits, because you can see if you got outliers or anything else. Control charts are, probability plots are very powerful, and you can get a lot of information. When I've done 30,000 foot level reporting, invariably I show more information than the person I'm doing it for has ever seen before. When improvement occurs, the free 30,000 foot level report can stage the individual's chart and provide a new prediction statement. I mentioned the DMAIC roadmap. There also is a clickable DMAIC roadmap, smartersolutions.com/roadmap. And all these particular, it's clickable. So Define has a clickable to the process associated with Because what I'm suggesting, 30,000 foot level charting is what should be done as a baseline for basically every project that one undertakes using Lean Six Sigma. Now, if you look at step 3.2 and 3.3, those are actually easily determined using the free app. So 3.2 is dealing with, talks about the logic that's associated with the individual's charge, and then 3.3 talks about the capability statement for various situations. So additional information. There's a couple articles I want to share with you here. One of them's called KPI, or Key Performance Indicator Management, KPI metric reports that lead to the best behaviors. Table of numbers, red, yellow, green scorecards are not good. They can lead to bad behaviors, as has been shown many times over the years. Just by setting goals and trying to meet those goals, that's trying to drive through the managing the Y's. But really, you want to look at Y as a function of X, and you want to change the X's to make Y better. So this is a better way of looking at the world. Then another article is Control Charting Technique Integration with Process Capability and Enhanced KPI Reports. Part of the books that I have is called includes the Integrated Enterprise Excellence System. Even the two novel books that I talk about, these golfers having these discussions. And it's a 9-step system that's shown here. Provides a vehicle for organization to manage and have automatic update at 30,000 foot level throughout their business. So I have software that's available so someone can put it on their server, and then they can have automatic updates to these 30,000 foot level metrics that everybody can see throughout their organization. So as a wrap up, I have a passion for showing people how to apply and benefit from our 30,000 foot level app for their data sets. Let me know some good times for you to have a half an hour Zoom application demonstration session. There is a schedule a video session button with me at the bottom of the page, smartersolutions.com. Again, for a copy of the presentation, you can send me a request to me at my email address shown there. So what kind of questions do we have, Mel?